You're listening to the KYLO Show, and I'm your host, Danny Silk.
And I'm Brittney Serpell. The KYLO Show is a podcast where we talk about how to keep your love on no matter what, and why whole healthy families are going to save the world. And it starts right now. Hi, and welcome to the KYLO Show. We're so excited that you're here with us. You have a good time over there?
We are, yes, I am.
We are.
We're live.
It's true.
We're just interviewing people, or not really interviewing. We're just answering questions live. Thank you all for all the questions. Man, these have been great.
Good questions.
Yeah.
Which means we have great conversations. So hopefully you're following all of them.
Yep. So can we get into it?
We are. Let's take our first caller.
Okay.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for joining us on the KYLO Show. We're excited to have you.
Yep. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I was going to say you as well, but it's your show.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
We are consistent on it.
Yeah, we were going to be here for sure.
For sure. But we did hear that you got a great question for us. So we'd love to hear what your question is and dive into it.
Okay. So, what do you do when the culture of leadership at your church looks like the following? Seeing feedback as threatening and personal attacks, asking for reconciliation, but being told you're holding on to bitterness and that love doesn't keep a record of wrongs. And then scripture is used to silence you.
Oof. That sounds like a rough.
That's a good time right there.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Partay.
Yeah. Well, I guess I would start with, is this a church you want to give your time and energy to?
Well, this is a church that we spent about 10 years at. And in the last 2 years, we were having kind of a buildup of things that we wanted to talk about, but I think we were afraid to approach the leadership. And then we felt by the Lord that we were actually supposed to move. And so upon moving, or on the decision to move, we went to leadership and said, we'd really like to talk about some things with you guys before we leave so that we're not leaving on a bad note, and brought some things forward. And this was what took place. And we really don't want to have to leave on a bad note. We'd really love for reconciliation, but it seems that no matter how hard we try, it's not going well.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I think what I just heard you say is that the Lord said it's time to move.
Yes.
And you started to move and then you stopped?
No, in the process of getting ready to move, we called and said we wanted to make sure we have a conversation prior to moving so that we didn't leave on not good terms, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah.
Yeah. And so have you moved? Have you changed churches?
We're actually loading up the truck tomorrow.
Yeah.
And to another city.
Okay, you're moving, like moving.
Moving.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, well, I mean, it's unfortunate that, maybe for whatever reason, I can't say that, I wasn't there, so I don't know who did what and who said what and how well it went, and but what I can see is that there's a disconnection, and commonly what happens is when we get disconnected, we try to talk each other into agreeing. And this is what happened, right? And they say, no, that's not what happened. This is what's happening. You're like, no, that's not what's happening. This is what's happening, right? No, that's not what's happening. So that is, I tell you about something I think you need to agree with before we can reconcile. Instead of just simply saying, here's how it feels to be here,
Yeah.
you know? And if you were going to put it in that language, what would you say? How would you describe how it feels to be there? Not what you think about being there or what it's like, but here's how I feel being here. What would you say?
I would say that I felt unknown, like not known, um, misunderstood, and that it felt like there was favoritism.
So
In
what does your experience of favoritism feel like?
hmm, do you mean like a word like that feels bad, or a
Yeah, unpack that a little bit. But cuz it feels like favoritism is another way of saying you show favoritism. And that's a judgment. So anytime we
Yep,
judge someone, that's why I'm
sure,
trying to get you to talk about you, then you're not judging anybody, you're giving really great information. But if I try to talk you into something that you have to agree with, then all you have to say is, "No, I didn't." And now we have an
sure.
argument.
That makes sense. Thank you. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I was trying to encourage you to keep talking.
No, I was waiting for how you experienced favoritism. How did it feel to you when you observed what looked like favoritism?
Um, uh, I guess it would go back to I felt not known and not seen, and felt not appreciated. And it felt lonely.
Mhm.
Um, and how would I don't know how I would say this in a feeling, but um, that all of our loving and serving and being a part of the church, because we were a very integral part, was um not a waste. That's not what I'm trying to say, but
Unappreciated.
thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel disconnected, I feel unappreciated, I feel, uh, misunderstood, I feel judged, I feel
Yeah.
punished, and I feel disconnected.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
How
you
about that meeting?
yeah, and then you grab a pair of socks and you shove them in your mouth before you keep talking, because the more you talk, the more you try to convince them to agree with you,
That's such a good point.
you know? And so this is where it all goes horrible. It all goes horrible when I need you to let me judge you.
Yeah.
And nobody goes for that. Nobody. Your husband doesn't go for it. If you have kids, they don't go for it. Your friends don't go. Nobody is going to hold still while you judge them.
Yes.
But we go for this 100% of the time. This is our go-to.
Yes.
Let me tell you what happened. And then you go, "You're absolutely right. That's exactly what I did wrong. Thank you for pointing it out." Nobody ever says that. It's just amazing.
That's a solid point.
It's true. Very true.
So I would, if you're gonna say something, and at this point it may be in an email, but I don't know if anybody's listening. So that's the other valuable piece that has to be there. Like if I'm gonna tell you about me, there has to be a receptacle. There has to be somebody that's listening.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't. You're just throwing your pearls before swine who trample them underfoot and then turn and devour you. Jesus says. So If you don't have someone who's listening, there is zero reason for you to talk.
That is an excellent point as well.
And so it's just best that, if you have a place, you have somebody who wants to hear your experience of this place. And at this point, the only adjustment that they could make is to say, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about you.
Mm-hmm.
All I heard was your judgment. I didn't know any of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I defended myself against your judgment, and then I judged you.
Mm-hmm. Which, man, even that would be great to hear, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that would help with the reconnect, right? Like, thank you for listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if nobody's listening, there's nothing really that you have to say.
Okay.
Unless it's just a parting shot that you're just like, and another thing, what I'd like to judge you with.
Add on there. Is this a relationship that once you move, you're trying to there's a need to stay connected? Like, are your kids best friends? Are you related to somebody? Or is this a likely as we move, we're probably not going to continue the relationship because there's not really need for it, especially if no one's listening and we're at this point in the relationship?
Our kids were actually very connected, but when my husband and I came to the table and said we just want to talk through some things, some hurts that have happened, and give some feedback of what we've experienced. When it went south, those relationships went south pretty fast. So at this point, I would say there is no desire or need to keep those relationships connected. And it would seem more or less like space is being made for us to create some new connections and new relationships where we are moving to.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would just take these skills with me to the next place and start it out as connection friendly as possible. Because what's happening is I'm telling you the truth about me helps you have really good information. And a lot of people think that truth is my judgments or my opinions is truth. Like, no, that's your version of reality. But in your marriage, you have a different experience of reality all the time. Like, like the husband says, wasn't this fun? And you say, no, I didn't have any fun at all. Like, well, wait a minute. What's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? This was no fun. No, it was totally fun. So all we're doing is we're just expressing our version of reality. Nobody's got the truth until I say, here's how I experienced you. This is true to me, which is I'm hurt and I'm disconnected and I'm lonely over here. Okay, that is really good information for somebody that cares about you. Because they're going to make adjustments and go, oh my gosh, I don't need to feel any of those things. What do you need to feel? I need to feel loved. I need to feel protected from the harsh words that you used. And I need to feel valuable. And like, oh my gosh, that's okay. I'll work on that. What do you need? And then the other person they get to talk while I listen. But nobody's defending themselves from that because I'm not telling you about you. I'm telling you about me if you're listening.
Yes.
If you're not listening, I'm not talking. And I may say that at some point. If you interrupt me, talk over me, get defensive, I will say, oh, if you're done listening, I'm done talking.
That is something that I have been realizing I should have done quite a while ago when I was definitely trying to convey, I'm hurt. Like I don't feel like there was connection. I don't feel like apology happened. It was just talking. Like I feel out on the outside, and I'm realizing that as you're talking, I should have definitely done I think we're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not gonna,
If you're done listening, I'm done talking. Yeah.
I'm not talking, and definitely out of a desire to reconcile with people we did life with for so long.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that I went outside of that.
Yeah. Well, take these new skills with you.
Yep.
As you set up shop in a new city, kind of have a fresh, what do you call it? Clean slate.
Mm-hmm.
And just limit yourself to telling other people about you instead of trying to tell them about them. And it goes so much further, so much faster, and it is so helpful.
That is good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rebecca. That was a great question.
You're welcome.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
That's hard. I mean, I think she was experiencing, I missed that exit. Oh, this is okay. Which getting really good at telling other people what you're going to do and
About you. Yeah.
And I think even I feel, neglected or overlooked or unappreciated instead of those judgments that,
You. Mm-hmm.
your style of leadership displays favoritism.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing that you'd be meeting with me is
Yeah.
that defending my integrity and honor and effort and heart. People don't realize how their desire to communicate that they have an ouchie comes out as you're awful.
Yeah. You're selfish and evil. But hear my heart. Hear my heart. Hear my heart. Yeah.
Which, again, it's such a practice. It's such a practice. And it's, I don't know how many times I'm like reciting this in my head. Stay away from you.
Yeah.
Don't use that word.
Yeah.
Don't use that word.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
Especially when you're so owie.
Yeah. Because you want control. You just think that if I say this right, you're going to let me control you.
But I say it just
and then I'll get my needs met. And like, yeah. And you're like, no, it's super about being willing to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And here is how I experienced you. And here's what I need to feel going forward. Not here's what I need you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I need to feel. I'm going to trust you to adjust to hit that target that I just held out there, which is I need to feel connected. I need to feel respected. I need to feel powerful in our conversations, whatever it is. And unfortunately, a lot of people are, they're spending time defending themselves and not listening.
Well, they have
even to that.
They have their notes out that they've carefully crafted all the ways that they've been hurt and offended.
Yeah.
So we just need to make sure we get through these, and then you'll see it.
Yeah.
Because I have all of these moments of truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another piece of my truth, my experience is real, and I am searching for agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And we have two very different experiences of that moment.
Yeah, I am dead set on convincing you that I am the keeper of reality. I keep reality over here.
I'm so good at
I am about to bless you with the welcome you into reality.
I have a supernatural gift for reality. I don't know if you realize that.
Yeah.
Let me bless your life with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
It's
I mean,
so prevalent.
10 years of friendship, serving kids. It sounds pretty messy.
Yeah. And this is a church wound right here.
Yeah. I think my hope for Rebecca and her family as they move on is they don't make these leaders bad guys in their life.
Right.
Because if they make them bad guys, then they stay victims.
Exactly.
And they bring that with them to their next place.
And they'll reproduce it.
And they search for a new hero who, let's hope that no one calls anybody over here. But that's that whole triangulation cycle that starts. So the only way that we don't continue this mess is if they decide we're not victims and there's no bad guy. It was just a really painful bummer.
It's just a group of great people that made mistakes, and I hope we learned our lessons.
Totally.
And we don't repeat our mistakes.
And I can say, there's plenty of people I could make bad guys in my life, and it is not worth it at all.
No.
Because it doesn't, it bears no fruit in my life that I want to give away. And it bears no fruit in my life that helps me become who God's asked me to be. But as soon as I turn and go, but you know what? I mean, did you hear? I'm. It's almost like we're even the garden being tempted again. Don't do it. There's no wisdom. There's nothing good over there. It's messy, smelly, gross, and it's not. It doesn't
smell like this coffee. Because this coffee smells so good. I just can't even believe it.
You really have to know. He's never been so excited about any kind of sponsor or ad because I'm always the one that has to do it. But he actually really, really loves this.
Pro-Life Coffee Roasters are our friend. And
he will drink coffee all day now.
Well, they're doing a great job. They are doing a great job. I'm not a coffee snob. I don't, I have some friends that are, and they're just like, oh gosh, you're off by a gram. Like, okay, this was the drug days. So we were measuring stuff in grams, and you're doing your coffee over there. You maybe have a problem. These people don't have a problem. 20 years of doing a great job serving in a country, Ethiopia, where they have gone from the farm to the coffee maker. I mean, they stay involved in the whole process, so they're not handing it off and letting somebody else maybe mess with the quality. They are carrying it right to the customer, which is super impressive. To do that for that long, because usually these companies sell it off. They sell some part of that off and leave it up to somebody else.
I think the other part that I heard from meeting with them is they have a heart for these people.
Absolutely.
They have a heart for these people to develop wealth, to develop a product that's excellent. They want to work with the people that are the farmers, like you said before. So they're just... they care about coffee. They're like, good coffee matters. So that is very much what they're advertising. And they care about these people. Obviously, Pro-Life Coffee Roasters is the name, which means they care about every single life on this planet. And they are giving to organizations that are protecting lives and that are fighting for whole and healthy families. So they sponsor us, they give to us, and they make an amazing cup of coffee. So we're grateful for their partnership and we're excited that it's a good cup of coffee on top of that. So if you're curious, prolifecoffeeroasters.com/KYLO will get you 15% off as well.
I don't know if I'm going to say this right or not, but Sidama is like the Napa Valley for wine. It's the coffee valley in Ethiopia.
You sound like a coffee snob. I just want you to know.
Well, I have notes here that I'm reading that they gave me, but I'm like, that's pretty cool. I love it, So,
well,
kingdom-minded friends that we're running with, and so appreciate.
Yeah.
And this is the espresso bean. We have another one at home, but this one they gave it to me, and this is like my friend.
True.
This is my friend.
Well, we're going to enjoy our coffee, and we'll be back with another question.
Okay.
Hello, guys.
Hello. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi. Good.
Jess is a former KYLO U student.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ta-da.
Yes, I'm back. I'm back with another.
She really
question.
just likes us.
She likes us.
She likes hanging
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
I haven't met Josh though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey, Josh. Well, we hear you guys have a really great question for us.
Yes. So we have a 7-year-old who's very strong-willed, can be very defiant, very stubborn. I'm sure when she's old enough to do the disc profile, she'll be a D.
Okay.
So that'll be fun. So our struggle, well, I guess I'll start with our successes. We've had success with offering choices. I just finished reading the Loving Your Kids on Purpose book. Got amazing new tools with that with kids. So those have been working, offering choices, huge change in her attitude, behavior. The funner room has been great. Sometimes like we'll have a situation where we're like, okay, like, this is what you need to do. Like you're making a mess. You need to clean the car when we get home. And she'll be like, no, like I'm not doing that. And we're like, okay, no problem. And then, she'll clean the car. It's like, yes, like that worked. But like, what do we do if we're like, okay, no problem. And she goes, doesn't want to do it, defiant, slams her door, won't budge. Like at what point do we like keep using the one-liners and just ignore just the disrespect, or just like back off and just wait for her to like calm down? I don't know if that makes sense, or if I'm rambling too much.
Yeah, like do we stick to the initial disrespect confrontation issue that we're trying to discipline and just ignore the secondary or tertiary disrespectful behavior? And how long do we ignore that when trying to just not be
Are
reactive?
there consequences for the disrespect, or we're just like, okay, no problem. Like when you're done being disrespectful, go clean up your mess.
Because she can kind of get locked into this defiant cycle, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's 7. You said, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And she's enjoying a bit of the power struggle. Sounds
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
She loves it.
She feels so powerful,
Yeah.
and she's just pushing buttons that she knows exist, which she's like,
what does this button do?
Totally.
Bwah! Bwah! Yeah.
And so, when I think about back to the slamming of doors, that's kind of like on top of why she's already headed to her room, when my kids were little. And some of this is that I'm not reacting to that, because that's not the problem that I'm really trying to address. I'm trying to address a heart issue. And if I can get to the heart issue and we can walk through that, then all the other like little layers of disrespect start to go away. And also there's a disconnect. I mean, that's when you're disconnected, it's way easier to be disrespectful. I don't know if you've ever experienced that in marriage or not. Probably not. I'm sure you guys are doing
No, we're perfect. We got it.
flawless. I'm sure it's never a problem.
We met them. We finally found them. Here they are. We
They are.
found them.
You're going to be on the next book.
Perfect.
Our book is coming out.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other part, is that there's a disconnect and she's disrespectful. She's sounds like a very normal 7-year-old, and that I'm trying to understand how much power I do have. So give me an example of like, she's going to her room because of why. She slams the door because she just wants to let you know how powerful she is. She gets to slam this door and you weren't there to stop it. So she's basically giving you her 7-year-old middle
Throw
finger.
things on the floor on
Yeah.
the way.
Yes, it's the 7-year-old middle finger. Watch this.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. But why did she go to her room? What was it that happened?
Well, the most recent example was, we have three kids. She's the youngest of 3. Driving in the car, just throwing things in the car, screaming, yelling, not being able to manage herself well in the car, fighting with her brother and sister, and the consequence where it was okay, well, now you can clean the car when we get home.
Mm-hmm. And she
That was
didn't
gonna
want
be
to.
consequence. Right. And then she gets home and she slams the door, or kind of halfway cleans the car, kind of waits for us to check, and then that turns into a whole another thing. And it's
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say, hey, honey, that was no fun. It looks like you made a big mess of this car, which is a bummer. So feel free to have dinner as soon as you've cleaned up the car. I'm not cleaning up the car. You can't make me. This is stupid. This isn't my fan. I didn't put the graham crackers on the car. But, she's justifying all the reason why she shouldn't have to clean up everyone else's mess. And you say, hey, no problem. Do you want to clean the car? Or did you want to spend some time in your room till you're ready to clean the car? Those would be the choices I'd offer. You decide or I decide. If she escalates, she's probably getting too big to pick up and move into her room.
Yeah.
I would imagine. So I would say, hey, I'm starting to feel hassled. So you still got to clean the car, but I'm now feeling hassled. So do you want to go to your room until you're ready to be fun and clean the car? Or do you want me to start hassle time? And so part of this is that she's just racking up the bring it on. I don't believe you. Yeah, right. You're not going to hold the line. And you're just going,
no problem.
Just you wait, princess. I cannot wait to show you the inside of the outside trash can. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
That is the nastiest chore that 7-year-olds can fit inside. It's great. So I think she is pulling you into the disrespect by you being reactive to the little 7-year-old middle fingers that she's throwing at you. I would stay the course. I would offer lots of choices. I would give her the invitation to hassle time or go into her room till she's ready to be fun. And you're ready. You control permission, opportunity, and resources, which means when she wants something, I'm hungry. Oh, I bet you are, because you've been cleaning the car for 3 hours now. So I've got dinner for you as soon as that car's clean. Oh, we're now at bedtime. There's going to be a really big breakfast for you as soon as that car is clean. Again, she sounds like she's ready to take on the world. You need to be ready to lead that world changer.
So what I'm hearing is you're just ignoring all those other behaviors and be like, oh, that's no fun. Like this could happen as soon as you've cleaned the car, or as soon as you picked up your mess. There's not really you're not being like, okay, well now there's consequences for this, and this. You're kind of just.
That is a symptom to the real problem.
Okay.
That is just something that is manifesting to the thing that we're already addressing. And you can have that conversation later, but it's not worth having right now. That is, it's just no problem. That's a bummer. The one-liners are meant for you to manage yourself in the moment.
I love the one-liners.
As she gives you her 7-year-old middle finger of throwing things across the room. I think it's more about us not becoming triggered and getting caught in, oh, she threw down disrespect. Well, let me see your disrespect, young lady, and I will take it on right now. Well, we've lost the cause of I am cool, I am calm, and I am able to lead you in your defiantness. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Again, later you can address, hey, that felt really yucky the way you treated mommy. I know you didn't want to do that, but you can't have that conversation with her right now. She's not in any space mentally to actually embrace it. So, and she's 7. So there's a fine line of how much you're going to dive into, but I would just be willing to stay the course and not cower, because the bigger she gets, the more she's going, let me wear you out with all my other levels of disrespect, and you get weary and you buckle. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're saying stay the course even if it's the rest of the day into the next morning?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, to some degree, I would say yes.
I would suggest that you give her nothing to power struggle with. So, when she's in the car and she's throwing stuff and she's just acting like whatever, I would start hassle time right there. I would say, no problem. I'll start the clock. And she doesn't even know what that means, maybe. But I wouldn't say, okay, I'm going to make you do this now. Because there's where the middle finger comes from, right there. Oh, you think you're going to disrespect me? I'm going to control you, little girl. Watch me. And she's going to go, oh, you could try to control me? Well, watch this. I'll be out of control. And this is the escalation, is you trying to stop it. And when you just say, no problem, clock's running, take your time. And then you can say something like, is that all you got? You sure you don't want to add some more?
I don't
mean,
think you like
say
that.
it bigger, say it louder. Come on. Stand on a mountain and do it. I want you to be more disrespectful. I remember working with foster children who were saying, F you, F you. I'd say it again. And they'd say, no. Right? I mean, that's the dynamic. If you understand the dynamic, then you can remove the power struggle, which is what I would recommend as fast as possible by saying, no problem. Clock's running. Take your time, honey. Now what you just did is you gave her permission to do it and she doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah,
you
we
say,
have been noticing that.
but if you say, this'll stop you. I bet this'll stop you. I bet this'll teach you. I'll bet this'll control you. I'll bet this'll prove that I'm in charge. Every one of those goes down the toilet because she goes, watch this. So you give her permission by saying, no problem. Take your time. Clock's running, baby. And then, hour before dinner or whatever, you say, hey, girl, you were hassling us for a long time. I forget how long, so I'll just say an hour. So here's a chore I got for you to work off your hassle time before dinner. You want to put the hassle time before something she wants, right? And so honey, as soon as you got the garbage cans all cleaned out, here's some dish soap or whatever, Tide or whatever you want, and a broom or something. As soon as that's all done, and you come on back in, get cleaned up, and we got some dinner for you. But dinner's over at 7. So I hope you have it done. Because if you don't have it done, then we'll have to catch you again at breakfast. Okay, baby? I love you so much. This is, thank you for cleaning out my trash cans.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna
break your heart a little bit to withhold dinner.
No, she doesn't want it. I don't want it. I want my stomach and my brain to have a fight all night. That's what I want. But she'll do it one time.
Yeah.
She'll do it one time. So you didn't say, you're going to bed without dinner. You didn't say that. Mm-mm. You said the path to dinner has clean trash cans in front of it.
And she gets to make that choice whether she wants dinner and not clean. And okay.
Yeah. And then you say, hey, and if she just says, screw this place and you and everything in it. I'm just the toughest kid in the West. You go, okay, well, no problem. This garbage can is going to be in front of breakfast next.
Yeah. Mm. Again, you really will only have this one time.
Yeah. It's
hard to believe.
If you want her to respect you, you have to be respectable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to be worthy of respect. And that comes from you controlling you and what you control. So you control the video games, you control the Wi-Fi, you control the computers, you control the dinners, you control the car rides to where she wants to go, you control access to friends, you control those things. What you don't control is her mouth, her feet, or her attitude. So this is all self-control practice for her. Does that help?
Yeah.
Awesome. This is going to be great. You're going to do great. I can see it in your eyes.
I would leave you with going in with a plan. You, especially if you know the car rides are rough, especially if you know she's having a bad day. If you try to pull this out and neither one of you are on the same page or you're really tired, you're probably not going to do it one time. You're going to have to do it again because you guys didn't walk it out to completion. That would be my biggest suggestion, is that talk about it now after this call so that you're ready for the likeliness of this happening and you can walk it out together and be able to support each other, tag team if you need to, because it usually is, especially if you've got other kids and she's as intense as she sounds.
Yeah.
She's going to come ready for battle. And you need to be able to be prepared and give each other, Ben and I had a code word for when we were losing it. banana pudding. Okay. All right. I'm back in the game. Thanks for that. And it was just, I am not going to enter in this power struggle.
Yeah.
I
Nope.
like that code word because I tend to handle the disrespect a little better than my husband.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Yeah.
So I like that code word.
Disrespect is just a big red button on your chest that says, don't you dare, and she walks up and goes, and so if you can just catch that, her disrespect is my disrespect. I'm not going to let you do not control my disrespect or my respect. I will. This is back to you want to be respected. You got to be respectable, and respect comes from being self-controlled. Otherwise, it's just some version of I'm bigger than you.
Yeah.
Go have fun, guys.
All right, you got this. Thanks for calling. Thanks for being on here. This is super helpful.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later.
It reminds me of the story of Delaney not going to school on time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting in trouble with school for her not getting up in the mornings and she moved like a sloth. And so we had to come up with a plan of what are we going to do, because it was just power struggle, dragging her out of bed, force feeding her, practically shoving.
Now she gets herself up and is at work at 6 a.m.
I know she is doing that now. But I just remember we knew it was going to happen. I knew that every single time was a power struggle. It was no fun. Everybody was disrespectful. Well, me and Delaney were disrespectful. Ben was probably hiding somewhere else. It's the war that was happening in the house. And, we finally came up with a plan. And here we are telling this little girl, hey, I'm going to wake you up one time and breakfast is on the table and daddy leaves at 8, And of course she didn't get up. She didn't have breakfast and Ben starts to leave. And so we picked her up out of bed. She's groggy, trying to figure out what's going on. She's got her lunch and a bag of clothes in the car waiting for her, and buckles her in. And I remember looking at Ben, stay strong.
Stay the course.
Stay the course. Do not buckle. Do not give in to her calling out your name in tears. I don't care. And them going to school and him getting her out of the car and walking in with the bag and lunch, and the front desk lady meets her and says, oh, hello, good morning. And, it's not pajama day, but Delaney's got pajamas on. Teacher meets her out at the classroom door and says, do you want to get dressed in the bathroom in the hallway or in the classroom? She says, the hallway. The whole thing. Ben did an excellent job. He really was on the front lines on that one. And I remember picking her up. She didn't seem fazed. I thought for sure we're going to have to do this again tomorrow. And I go to wake her up and she pulls back the covers and she's dressed head to toe.
Yeah, shoes. I slept in my shoes.
She's completely ready because she did not want to go to school in her pajamas when it was pajama day.
These children are geniuses.
Yeah. And I mean, we've got a couple of those stories with Lainey, and she was our most stubborn child when it came to those type of things, and diffusing the power struggle, not engaging in it, not taking the bait of the disrespect. I mean, those are such parent hooks. Disrespect is it's a hard
killer.
One. It's a hard one,
especially for Christian parents. Man, they are just lit with disrespect.
They do now.
How dare you? I am Jafar. It's like, okay, you need to go take a nap.
I need a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard. It's hard to not fall into that trap.
Yeah.
But if you can avoid the power struggle and not take the bait of those, 7-year-old middle fingers and stay in control of yourself and have a plan and you walk through it, then you've taught them a powerful, beautiful lesson of, I have prioritized this relationship. I have protected it. I have required something of it. And I'm teaching you the value of our relationship in this process.
Yeah. And it's so important that in order to create a culture of respect in your home, a culture of connection in your home, a culture of self-control in your home, you have to be the leader.
Mm-hmm.
These are children. These people may pee on themselves still. It's like
Exactly.
you've got to lead
their
the
book
way. You've got to lead the way. Control yourself, protect the connection, be respectful, set the bar. Set the bar, and then welcome the children to fill that space. That's your job as a parent. And there's a million excuses. None of them are good.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to be disrespectful. You don't get to be hurtful. You don't get to be out of control as a parent. You don't. I don't care. You list out your excuses. None of them are preservable.
Yeah.
I don't have a great reason why I was disrespectful. I don't have a great reason why I hurt you. I don't have a great reason why I lost control. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I need to grow up. I need to mature. I need to lead this family if we're going to have a culture that is a place we all want to live in the future.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. You don't get to be disrespectful and then demand respect. It's probably one of the most frustrating things that I watch parents do in the grocery store.
Yeah.
But we won't go into that because it's just not worth it. But I fight for the culture that you want and be the leader of that culture.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, the culture that you have is a direct reflection on your leadership.
Yeah. It's true in business. It's true in church. It's true at home.
Yeah.
So we have the culture that we've cultivated.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you love it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could submit your questions and then you can come on the show and we can help you with it.
We are looking for more questions and you'll get an email. If you're on our email list, you'll get an email and you too can ask us your question.
You too can be on this giant TV screen right in front of my face and see us and hang out and no one else can see it. Just I can see it and you can see it, but you're missing out. It's a good time. Thanks for joining us on the KYLO Show. We love your questions and we love helping you create whole, healthy families. Thanks for partnering with us and thanks for listening. Make sure you go to lovingonpurpose.com and sign up for our emails to stay connected about upcoming episodes and how to ask your questions live. Never miss an episode of The KYLO Show by subscribing to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or watch us on Loving on Purpose YouTube channel.
And don't forget, whole healthy families are going to save the world. See you next time.